Well, good day to you and a very warm welcome to the Czech Indoor Gala. We're in Ostrava in Czechia, or the Czech Republic. It's the third stop of the World Indoor Tour Gold Series. Plenty of athletes in front of this very good crowd in the Athletic Hala. Plenty of athletes making their debuts for this indoor season, even though we're well into February now. But some great clashes as well coming at us in the men's long jump. As you can see, that goes off at 6 o'clock local time, 5 o'clock in the UK. We've got Mattia Furlani, the Italian world champion, up against the Olympic champion, Miltiadis Tentoglou of Greece. Their last clash was at the World Indoors last year, where Furlani won. Indeed, he won 4 of the 6 meetings after that last summer. Furlani, still only 20, mind you, the Italian. What a talent he is. We've got great action on the track and in the field. A wonderful men's 800 European Indoor champion Sam Chappell up against Mark English of Ireland, who set a national record in Luxembourg just 2 weeks ago. Whether you like your sprints, the 60s, the hurdles, the 60 hurdles, the 400s, the 800s, 1500s, the 3000s, you name it, we've got it for you here. Also great action in the field to a very high caliber men's shots contest, men's long jump as I've already mentioned, and women's pole vault too is going to be contested over this next couple of hours. Myself, Tim Hutchings, and Hannah England with you now for that duration.
Good afternoon, Tim, and this is what we're starting with, the women's 60 metres. We've had some heats off air for the 60-metre hurdles for men and women. We'll have their finals later, but the women's 60 is happening totally within this 2-hour international window. And Amy Hunt, the silver medalist from Tokyo over 200 metres, making her indoor debut for 2026. This is Samira Killebrew of the United States, multiple NCAA finalist, making her first trip to Europe. She's raced in Canada, but other than that, she's not raced outside of North America until Valencia last weekend, and she's made her way to Ostrava. The season's best of 7:31 set back in Texas earlier on in January. Lifetime best 7:16 is from a couple of years ago. Imani Lansico ended 2025 early with an injury, and she's changed coaches this year to Marco O'Reilly, the same coach as Amy Hunt. 2 Brits in this heat. Karolina Manasova of Czechia goes in lane 4. She's just broken the national record at 7:05 in this stadium. She's the European lead and a local Ostrava resident. There is Amy Hunt. She was 5th in Nanjing at the World Indoor Championships, and she kind of said, if I can come 5th in my weakest event, what can I do when we get to outdoors? And the answer was a silver medal in the 200 metres. Bogdanka Takac goes in lane 6 for Hungary. She's a double silver medalist at the European Under-23 Championships, and she set a national record of 7:09 last year at the European Indoor Championships. Emma Bendova, still just 18 years old, goes in lane 7. She's already run a 60-metre and a 200-metre indoor personal best in January. Some fans in the crowd for her. Pavia Vashnikova of Czechia goes in lane 8. She's been within 100th of her personal best in the last few weeks, 7:38 elsewhere in Czechia. Just get near to her 7:37 set here. Now the first 2 across the line automatically qualify for the final, which is the closing event here in Ostrava, coming up in 1 hour 55 minutes. So first 2 automatically qualify, and then we'll take another 4 time qualifiers. Manasova very much the woman to beat here this afternoon in this event. European Under-23 champion last year over 100 metres. Hasn't slowed down at all into this indoor season. Great start from Manasova, as you might expect. She's in good form. She's been racing a fair amount, but here comes Amy Hunt on the charge. The Brit opens up her indoor season, opens up 2026 with a 7:18 in the heats. And that's serious from Amy Hunt. She was under 7:1 a couple of times last year, including in Nanjing. It's been rounded down to 7:17, so that is a good start. Manasova safely navigates the heats here. She will qualify automatically. Killebrew is 7:27, Takac 7:29, Mexico 7:37. They'll wait and see how the second heat unfolds. There is some real talent in that second heat as well. But really smooth from Amy Hunt.
Yeah, she always takes a little while to get up to full speed. Amy probably hits top speed about 50, 55 metres actually. She just keeps coming and coming through the latter stages there. She's in 3rd place there with about 20 to go. But look at the length of that stride. Holds her form really well. dips well at the line and takes it. 7.17, Hannah. Not far outside her lifetime best of 7.09 from Apeldoorn, those European indoors last year. So that's a really, really solid run from the Brit. There's more to come, there's no doubt. So often these sprinters will go better in their second race of the day.
They do seem to just wake everything up in that first heat and then just come back well for the second. And Amy Hunt, I think with that silver medal all the way in September, you might say maybe we won't see her indoors, but I think the indoor season was so pivotal for the Brit last year in honing that start and working on that part of her race that she might do that again this year. Yeah, British champs a couple of weeks ago, a couple of weeks away. We'll have to wait to see which athletes turn up and run there to try and make that national team. But there's Amy Hunt, 7.17, Karolina Manasova, 7.20, Samira Killebrew, 7.27, and Takac, 7.29.
One more heat to come. We can go over to the men's shot now. They haven't been out there very long. They were introduced to the crowd just a little while ago. And that looks over 21 meters. Wow. Let's take a look at it again. Geist it is, Jordan Geist. Well, that from Geist is a fabulous opener. 20 meters 80. At this Czech Indoor Gala. The Americans, of course, such a powerhouse, such strength in depth in the men's shot.
Andrei Toda up next for Romania. Perhaps a slightly surprise winner of the European Indoor Champs last year. He was absolutely delighted, threw so well that day. Oh, just below the mark there from Geist for Toda. It's a lifetime best of 21.29 in Czechia a few years ago. Get over 21 metres, you'll win most of the competitions on the circuit. Maybe not the World Indoor Championships, you might need to find a bit more there. But Toda, in the opening round, 20.56, just finding his feet here.
Yes, they're homing in, aren't they, on the 21-metre line, these fellas. There's Rajendra Campbell. He's in such good form, is Campbell. The Jamaican 29-year-old won in at the Millrose Games just 48 hours ago with 21.77. Did Campbell, Olympic bronze medalist in Paris. And that's not bad at all. That's way out there towards 21 metres. His lifetime best. Well, he's one of the huge putters, 22.31. That came in Zagreb in the outdoor meeting back in 2024, right at the end of the summer, of course. In the shot, the indoor and outdoor performances are combined. There it is, 20.63 in round 2 for Campbell.
Back round to the event leader at the moment, Jordan Geist. He didn't do Millrose, one of the few Americans to not do the meet in New York last week. And that might be to his favour there without the travel in his legs. Way over 21 metres there for Geist. It's not going to do his hopes any harm here at all. 20.80 his mark from the first round. Trying to improve on that. And it's a whopper, 22.04. He breaks the meeting record of Konrad Bukowiecka. That stood since 2020. And Geist, that is a new world lead as well, unseats Rajendra Campbell in the world leading mark, and he's just taken this guy's meeting record.
1996 for Konrad Bukowiecki in the opening round. He's fourth in the throwing order. We're just catching up here with some throws from the last 10 minutes or so. Bukowiecki, European Championship silver medalist back in 2018, and those Europeans in Berlin. Gosh, was that 8 years ago now, nearly? He's only 28 now. He was a phenomenal youngster. His best this season so far, 20.61, and with his second round, they're very close to it, 20.60, getting better. But that's quite a psychological blow, isn't it, when one of your opponents goes over 22 meters in the second round. Crikey, that'll be playing on their minds no matter what they try to think.
Tina Schutte in her opening height here, going for her 4th consecutive win at this meeting. Okay, Schutte, she often comes in kind of a little bit earlier than you might expect. Her personal best is from this meeting back in 2023, 4.82. She was finally on a global outdoor podium in Tokyo in September when she took the bronze. It's a welcome return from injury for Schutte. 2024 was disrupted for her. But defending champion, looking very, very good over 4:30. She's got some good competition here. It's Fabika, but certainly another woman that could challenge her for this title.
He could indeed, yes. The Czech in front of the home crowd here. 5th in the Olympic Games in Paris a couple of years back now. Ooh, that looked like it was slow motion almost. She really struggled to get over that. Yeah, big sigh of relief there as she eases over in this pole vault. Early stages yet. As Fabikova goes over 4:30 as well, first time. Her opening height, just like Chute, gives it a little clatter. And she knew it was close, but getting immediate feedback. The athletes, this generation of athletes with the iPads, are able to show them exactly what they did, are so lucky with that feedback so fast.
So a win for Amy Hunt in the first heat. This is the second heat of the women's 60 metres. Remember, first 2 qualified for the final and another 4 on time. This is Klara Kadyrova, who isn't on my start list, but she might be a late addition. Into lane 1, we'll let it play out. Here's Canondra Davis. She goes in lane 2. 6th NCA 200 metres last year. Opening up her season here in Ostrava. Aya Del Point goes in lane 3. PB 7:03 was set when she won the European Indoor Championships in Tyrone back in 2021. I wonder if the Swiss woman fancies a return to Tyrone for the World Indoor Championships. Those are coming up in 6 weeks. Zainab Dosso took a silver medal at those World Indoor Championships last time out in Nanjing. Lucia van der Weyken was on that podium as well. She podiumed at the European and the World Indoor Championships for Luxembourg. She's done so many firsts for her nation, holds all their national records. She was even their flag bearer at the Paris Olympics. Tori Lewis of Australia goes in lane 6. She's their national record holder over 60 and 100. She made the semi-final indoors and outdoors at a global level last year. Magdalena Lindner of Austria goes in lane 7. She's 8-time national champion. She's been within 100th of her lifetime best already this season. Natalia Kojushnikova of the Czech Republic goes in lane 8. Season best of 7:48 this year. Lucia van der Weyken, Zainab Dosso. Double podiums for them in Apeldoorn and in Nanjing. Jinga Kumbunji, the other member on that podium, taking time off this season following childbirth. We really have got 2 of the best 60-metre runners in the world side by side in this second heat. Good start from Zainab Dosso and Patricia van der Weyken. Dosso, though, looking full of running. The Italian just getting caught, perhaps, by van der Weyken on the line there. Those 2 will qualify for the final. Dosso just saying, what happened on the line there? There's 2 lines. They are taking a 50-metre clocking here in Ostrava. They like their stats. They like taking a couple of marks. I just wonder if Dosso got confused with the line. So van der Weyken there, 7:13. That's faster than Amy Hunt. She is the fastest qualifier, looking to extend her unbeaten streak in 2026. Dosso, 100th behind. Del Pont, that's a good run from Del Pont. That is the fastest she's run in a number of years. Del Pont, she had so many hamstring issues, so that's a great run from the Swiss woman.
Well, yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that put Dosso there in the purple. Eased up early. Look at that, way before the line. I mean, probably 3 or 4 strides out. It was disastrous. It would have been if it had been the final and there were prize money involved. But van der Weyken, to her credit, a tall Luxembourger, coming through and taking it there by 1/100th of a second. It's, do you remember, I used to remember that at Stockholm, the outdoor track in Stockholm, the old Olympic Stadium, the finish line was way past where you'd expect it to be. I think it's been adjusted now. They've shifted everything back about 3 or 4 meters. But for years and years, athletes would ease off too early at the Stockholm outdoor meeting. And that's what we saw just then, without any doubt at all. Dosso thought she had the win in the bag.
Well, there's the results at the end. It was Patricia van der Weyken, 7:13 from Zainab Dosso. I have got the intermediate times. It was a meeting record for 50 metres for Dosso with 6:09, but that's not what the race was. It was 60. But Dosso makes it through to the final Del Point and Lewis have been credited with time qualifying marks. They will join Killebrew and Takac in those time qualifying spots for the final.
Rajendra Campbell then back to this men's shot put. Now, the Olympic medalist opened with 1968. That looks better from Campbell. Left-handed thrower, quite unusual. Right down the centre of the sector. What does he get there? Remember, Geist 22.04 we've seen from his round 2. Campbell 20.63, 20.54, so no improvement there. That 20.63 has him in second place at the moment, but there's plenty of acts to unfold yet.
Lucio Munoz of Mexico certainly was a surprise medalist last year. He was the silver medalist in Tokyo. Around about 20 meters for Munoz here. 1962, 1948 so far. I do think all 8 athletes will get all 6 throws. Or maybe they're doing a final 3, I think, in the field events here in the World Indoor Tour. So they'll all get 5, and then just the final 3 will get through to round 6. So Munoz there, 20.09, he does improve.
Toda then. Opened with 20.56, then 20.30. Very, very fast, but I think that angle of attack, angle of release, just a little bit too steep. Let's look at it again. Gets enormous height, goes out of shot. Goodness me, the director couldn't get it in, keep it in shot all the time. Keep it in the picture all the time, excuse my play on words there. 20.33, yes. No improvement on that opener for the Romanian.
Sofia Gaboska here at 4.30. An equal first position at the moment, but some of the big names haven't entered yet. There's Gaboska. Nice and controlled jumping there from the Polish woman. Easy clearance, but perhaps the speed and the zip that you might expect. You might get at a higher height. Her personal best set this year is 4.40, so she's getting close to that. That's why we're seeing some relief there at 4.30. I feel like there's 4.40 there today for Gaboska. That's where the bar will go next.
The women's 400 metres run B, as they're calling it, is next on the track. 2 laps of the track, of course. But don't always think that these are necessarily B races. It has been known in the past in this meeting for an athlete to win the overall, and run the overall fastest time from the second race, the B race, so to speak. Anyway, let's take a look at these 4 athletes. The Austrian Susanna Gogol-Vali, the 29-year-old, comes from the northern states in Austria, Upper Austria's Athlete of the Year. Only 4 per race in the 400 metres, now new World Athletics rules. She has a best of 51.37, Gogol-Vali. She's a good athlete. Vondrova, Lada Vondrova, her first 400 of 26, went down in the heats of Tokyo last year. And the Yankeleg in Budapest 23 for a bronze medal for the Czechia team. Basant Hamida of Egypt, well, she's a real growing force, the 29-year-old. 4 times under 51 seconds last summer. She's in lane 4. After a national record on her heat, she was 5th in her semi-final last year. Her outdoor best is very impressive, 50.36. And then in lane 3, effectively the inside lane in this race, Daniela Ledecka of Slovakia. Best of 52.7 from this meeting last year. She has only run 53.2 so far this year. The fastest time in the world this year, 51.15. If I tell you that only 7 women in history have ever gone under 50 seconds indoors, you'll realize just how tough it is to get it right for the women over 2 laps. Anything under 51 is fabulous. The meeting record, 50.54 by Lieke Klaver. She goes in the next race, the Dutch athlete. Well, very even over the first 50 or so. Good aggressive running from Ledecka, right of picture in lane 3. Also going well, Gogol-Vali having to put up with that slight upslope from the outside. They break from lanes there. Gogol-Vali uses the downslope to kick hard towards the bell here. and does hold the lead marginally from Hamida. 200 metres done, 23.87, pretty quick. Nice and steady, but can she hold it together here, Gogolvali? She's got a nice lead indeed. Hamida perhaps holding the others back. Vondrova in the red left of picture, having to come wide and into the final bend, and still Gogolvali of Austria has a nice lead. Working hard now, but they all are. Hamida trying to come back at her. Is the Egyptian going to have the strength as Gogolvali on the inside tries to hang on, and Hamida comes through and just snatches it at the line. Brilliant run, nicely judged there from the Egyptian. Goodness me, she is a growing force, she really is. Set that personal best of 50.36 in her heat in Tokyo. 51.73, the winning time. That's what, equal to about the 8th fastest time in the world this year, 51.72. No wonder she's chuffed, Hamida. That is a massive personal best. She's just run almost half a second quicker than ever before indoors. And she had to really work for that, Hannah. It'll be fascinating to see where that ranks her after the next race.
That was a masterclass in positioning from Hamida. She held off Vondrova, paced herself very well. And Hamida's pretty new to 400 metres. She did so many 1s and 2s. She's a national record holder at all the distances for Egypt. She's just lowered that own national record here. But Hamida, when you come up from 100s and 200s, you'd expect someone to be slowing down in the last 50. But Hamida is doing the absolute opposite in most of her 400 metres so far in this stage in her career. And she's executed that fantastically today. I think Gogolvali, I think she did the right thing, getting the lead and trying to hold on to it. But Vondrova, because Hamida was positioning herself so well, Vondrova could barely find any rhythm at all. But that is indoor 400 metre running. And this is what we'll see in the next race as well. On paper, the women in the next race have faster PBs, but they're going to get in each other's way. 51.73 is a tough mark laid down by the Egyptians.
72 it got rounded down to, yeah. Vondrova, 52.36 in third place, but a national record for the Egyptian. Not a bad way to continue her indoor season. She ran in Stockholm, what, 10 or 11 days ago, ran 53.2. She's just run a second and a half quicker than that after her previous season's best. Yeah, she is ecstatic with that one. Personal best, national record, and throws the gauntlet down at the feet of the athletes in the next race. Confirmation of the win there for the Egyptian. Bassant Hamida, a national record, 51.72, beautifully judged ahead of the Austrian Susanna Gogolvali.
Looked like a bigger winning margin. So kind of the momentum that Hamida was carrying through there.
Camera angle was a little deceptive, I reckon.
Just 500s, but win's a win as we catch up with the women's pole vault. Vika Moser of Estonia. Oh, she does pray to the pole vault gods, and they answer. The 17-year-old keeping the bar up. Wonderful jumping here. He's the world under-18 record holder at 4:52 in the summer. Moser barely getting over 4:40 here, but it did stay up. That equals her season's best she set in Luxembourg a couple of weeks ago.
Well, quite a busy card for Moser, the Estonian. Now, Olivia McTaggart. Her opening height will be 4.40 meters. McTaggart here. She's sat around for a long time, and that's nice. Well, I say it's nice. It looks a little untidy, but she wriggles over the bar. There's clearly full of confidence is McTaggart. Personal best 4.73. That came at the London Diamond League last year. 4.60 indoors this winter so far, and she pops over 4.40 with no trouble at all. 8th in the pole vault in Tokyo last summer, and I think somebody to watch this coming year. 4.60 came in Caen in France just a few days ago.
So the second of the 400-metre races for women, run 8. We have got perhaps the bigger names in here, the faster times, but indoors, anything can happen. People really try and mess each other up. Nika Klaver said she's made some changes in training, and she's really hoping for sub 51 seconds today. She is the meeting record holder at 50.54. She's going for her 4th consecutive win here in Ostrava. Lane 5 goes to Lourdes Manuel of Czechia. This is her first race since May 2025. The 20-year-old is a big, big hope for Czechia. She's a world junior champion, and she's made major senior European finals before as well. Missing a whole summer through injury. It's a big learning curve for the youngster. Emma Zapletalova of Slovakia goes in lane 4. She was the surprise bronze medalist in the 400-meter hurdles in Tokyo. She just took 1 second off her own national indoor record, running 51.67 in Belgium. Paris Peoples of the United States completes the lineup in lane 3. She was 3rd at the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix behind Nicole Jürgen and Anna Hall a few weeks ago. She's got good endurance, and she actually used that already today. She paced the one of the pre-programmed 800 metres through 400 metres in 57 there. That's a bit of a warm-up for this open 400 metres. So 51.73, the target set by Basant Hamida in the previous race. Lika Klaver and Lourdes Manuel are actually training partners. I think Manuel, the youngster, has got an advantage here, having Klaver just outside her to judge her pace against. So Manuel and Klaver side by side as they swing into the home straight. Zapletalova, the 400-meter hurdles specialist. Is she going to settle here at the bell? But no, Zapletalova slots between Manuel and Klaver. Some good elbows from the Slovakian, Lika Klaver, streaking down the back straight. I mentioned this would be her 4th consecutive win here in Ostrava. And when you know an arena, you know a track and you like it, you can be full of confidence. Klaver with 50 metres to go. She's not got this one quite yet. Manuel swinging wide. Zapletalova trying to respond, but Lika Klaver getting herself all the way to the line for her 4th consecutive win here. It's not quite sub 51, but it is a new world lead, 51.01 for Lika Klaver. 2025 is a bit underwhelming perhaps for Klaver, the first year in many years where she's not set a lifetime best. So to start 2026 with a win and 51 dead, it's pretty good for the Dutch woman.
Yeah, I thought that was an absolutely brilliant run from Klaver. She didn't come out of the blocks like a rocket. She took it nice and steady the first lap by her own standards, because let's not forget, she is an athlete who loves to commit early, goes out really hard. She's ideal in some respects for 400-meter running indoors, which is a contact sport. You see a lot of elbows and banging and barging at 400 indoors, but Klaver didn't really need to there. I almost think her physical presence, Hannah, when they broke from lanes and were sort of almost coming together at 200, sort of intimidated the rest. They let her take the lead, and if they had made contact with her, they'd have been the ones that would have bounced off onto the infield. But that from Klaver, absolutely superb, and I think there's a lot more to come from this Dutch athlete. It's a really good, solid, workmanlike performance and a great opener.
Klaver, she has enough speed to do what she wants in that first lap, get herself the best position, and now she's got the endurance to hold on to that. She's developed really well into a 400-meter runner. All 3 women on your screen underneath the world qualifying mark for those indoor championships. That was 51.75, so Hamida under that as well. The qualification system for to run takes place in 6 weeks. It's got a time. Athletes, they want to probably get 2/3 of the field from the qualifying time, and then they'll just go down the rest of the times from the season. Zapletalova, what a run from her. She's further lowered the national record she set a few days ago. Taking another 0.4 or so off that. There it is in 3rd place. So 2 national records in this women's 400 from Hamida in the first heat, and now Zapletalova with that 3rd place, and Manuel and Klaver in 2nd and 1st.
Well, those times are combined. Hamida does make it to the top 4, so her win in the first race would have had a 4th in that race. But the seeding pretty good, it has to be said. Brilliant running from the first 3 there. Klaver, Manuel and Zapletalova. Nice crowd here too in this Atletica Halle. Back to this men's shot though. And Jordan Geist, no throw in round 3, but that monster in round 2 might have wrapped it up, frankly. That's another big one from Geist. He really is hitting his straps well here, the American. Pan Am Games silver medalist, all of, 7 years ago. But you don't see much on the Diamond League circuit, because the Americans are so strong in depth. He struggles to get into fields. 6'2", 1m88. He's not huge by shot standards, but there's he's pretty broad, as is this fella.
So Bukowiecka here in round 4, in 3rd place at the moment, trying to improve on 2060. He's quick, isn't he, Bukowiecka, in the circle. Over 20 meters again. It's coming up for me as 20:43. So some good consistency there for Bukowiecki. Apologies, I was putting the A on the end, which is the female version, his wife's name. So Bukowiecki in 3rd place at the moment.
Victor Pettersson then. Only one valid throw from his first 3, 1991. It has him down in 5th place. The Swede desperately needs something better here. And that is better. That surely is over 20 meters. His lifetime best from last year, almost exactly a year ago in Vaxio in Sweden, 21:49. And that one, well, it looks around 20 and a half, something like that. 20:34, so gets him into the running, so to speak, in 5th place. Doesn't improve his position at the moment. Toda is in 4th with his opener 20:56.
We're back with Tina Schutte here in the pole vault. We have just seen Lika Klaver get 4 consecutive wins at this event over the years. Tina Schutte trying to do the same here in the pole vault. Very smooth from Schutte. I mentioned she does often come in early, Schutte. She's feeling good. She'll then skip a height. That's what she's done here today. Came in at 4:30, skipped 4:40. And this is actually a 2nd time clearance at 4:50 for Tina Schutte. It's enough to give her the lead at the moment, but not perfection from the Slovenian.
Excellent crowd here on Ostrava. Back to Campbell then in this shot put competition, which is building nicely, well past halfway. Campbell in 2nd place, 22:04 by Geist has the lead from round 2. The best so far, 20:63 rather in round 2, and that looks better. That's out towards 21 meters from Campbell. He has thrown 21:77. That, remember, Sunday evening. He's had a busy old time of it, coming back across the Atlantic yesterday. Getting into Central Europe, 21:04, moves forward closer to Geist, but actually exactly a meter down on the American, but he opens up a bigger gap on those behind him.
Time to go back to the track. We've got some wonderful endurance races coming up. We had some 800 meters in the pre-program that went pretty well. We're going to have 2 A races in this 2-hour window, and the times are going to be compiled across the 2 races.
They are indeed, yes. There's the athletes in this men's 800 meters. What a lineup it is. The pacemaker, Zakic, is going to go on 50.5. Fiderka, World University Games champion a couple of years back, and then silver medalist last year. The pole, best of 1:45 indoors. Elliot Creston, 2nd in the world indoors last year in Nanjing. He's a good athlete, the Belgian, 1:44.69. He ran in Ostrava at this meeting last year. This is his first race of 2026. Watch Creston, really good racer. Sam Chappell, European indoor champion from last year's meet in Apeldoorn, remember. That in front of the home crowd for the Dutchman, 1:44.88 he ran in Apeldoorn. And Mark English, he's in fabulous form. European indoor bronze medalist in Apeldoorn behind Chappell. He had a fabulous summer last year. 3 national records outdoors and already an indoor national record this winter. Ketobogile Hangura of Botswana, the 27-year-old, was 2nd in the African Championships a couple of years back. He's only 5'9". He's tiny next to these fellas, Blaudek and Dudisha. Blaudek, European under-18 champion in 2022, won the European junior title in 2023. Dudisha, big roar there for the Czech. He's still only 20 years old, very tall, 6'3". This is Marino Blaudek of Croatia. Good 1500 in Valencia just a couple of days ago. He ran 3:37. And Filip Ostrovsky in fabulous form. World number 3 this year. He was second in Boston 10 days ago. His time there, 1:44.68, behind that astonishing world record of Josh Hoey. 1:42.50. Hoey ran to take down Wilson Kipketer's ancient record. So what can they do here? The meeting record, well, this is a quick track, is 1:44.69 by Creston last year at this meeting. Creston, there he is, third to left in one of the outer lanes, the Belgian. Nice smooth mover. Pacemaker, remember, has been asked to go out in 50.5, and now he sweeps down on the outside there. Lukasz Zacic. Bit of bumping and barging. There's quite a big field for an indoor 800, but they go through there in, was it 23.6? I didn't quite see that as they go down the back straight now, stretching out in, it's more like single file. Creston in third place. Mark English in the blue there in fourth. He's a great racer, English. He's put his doctoring career on hold, his medical career on hold as they come round towards 400 metres.
Dedica having a real go here, the young Czech athlete. He often goes out super fast and then struggles slightly, but 51.04 through the first 400 metres, that's fine. It's not too quick. I think we're seeing single file because it's indoors, if you like. Dedica with a wonderful opportunity here, but he's got the likes of Creston and English, who are tactically brilliant, queued up behind him.
Ostrovsky towards the back of the field is struggling to go with this, even though he's world number 3 this year. They come round and they hear the bell this time. The pacemaker's done a great job. Dedica holding his line there at the lead. Creston nicely positioned in second place, but there's still 4 or 5 men there in with a chance. Mark English, a great racer, in third place for Ireland. Watch him. So experienced is English, but he might be getting run away from here. Creston kicked hard going into that final bend. Really good tactical move by the Belgian. Very, very smart indeed. Makes it hard for the others to get back to him. Although Dedica is having a good go at it here. But Creston takes it from Dedica. Mark English in third place. Look at the time! 1:43.84. Boy, oh boy, that is quick. It might not be anything like the world record from Hoey last week. Remember, that was 1:42.50. Insane running we saw in Boston. But 1:43.84. That obliterates his own meeting record from last year. Almost a second improvement on it. And Hannah, a lot of it down to the really good pacemaking. I think the 50.5 that had been requested was optimistic. I think 51.0 was just about perfect. But Creston doesn't look strange, does he?
I love when Creston, it runs patiently. His last 150 is just brilliant. I think Mark English would have wished he was a kind of a spot higher up. And you're right, apologies for misidentifying Dedica. He ran a great race, Dedica, the Polish man. He gave himself every opportunity. He didn't crumble when Creston came past him. And he's going to be rewarded with a lovely time there as well. But Elliot Creston with a 1:43, that puts him 4th all-time indoors. And it's a new meeting record, just fantastic. Dedica with a new national record as well. And English breaks his own national record from a few weeks ago.
I mean, it's insane. National records for the first 3. National record for the Croatian Blaudek in 5th place. He runs 1:45.27. That was astonishing. The racing here so far has been absolutely superb. But Creston, a class apart, frankly. Wow.
Really, with 51 first lap, you know, you've watched Josh Hoey and what he did, and you kind of think, well, 51, that's kind of nothing. It's not that quick. But actually, as you said, Tim, absolutely perfect. And they all stayed out of each other's way as well. It was a lovely single file race, and just great to see even Sam Chappell getting a personal best after such a good indoor season last year.
No, absolutely. I mean, Mark English, his second race, and he takes his second race over 800 this year, and he takes another national record, 1:44.23. He takes 0.3 of a second off his own record. Sam Chappell, a personal best, 1:44.75, the European indoor champion. Can't ask for more than that. Anyway, back to this shot put where these fellas are beginning to reach the end of their competition. And it's this man who's dominated, Hannah.
Jordan Geist, I mentioned he'd skipped Milrose. Maybe he came over to Europe a little bit early, got ready for a string of world indoor tours we've got here, but the American controlling this competition so far. His 22.04 came in the second round. That's going to be another throw over 21 metres. He was over that 21 metre mark in round 4 and round 5. This is final throw of the competition. Come up for me, 21.78. Those last 3 throws, just brilliant. A new world-leading mark for Jordan Geist with that 22.04. And he's the first to go here I think it will just be the final 3 that have a go here in round 6.
Well, he's had the 4 longest throws of the day so far. Rajendra Campbell absolutely powerless to compete with this. Campbell's best 21.04 coming in round 5, but Mikey Geist was bigger in round 2 with his best throw of the day, bigger in round 4, 5 and 6. Can Campbell produce something here special? His best 22.31 was an outdoor effort, as I said, in Zagreb last year. Well, it's over 21. That is an improvement, I think. 21.04 was his best in round 5. That's a good response. Oh, he fouls out. What a shame. Let's have a look at the feet. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it wasn't even close. That's a shame, because he was really giving it all there, trying to close the gap on the American Geist with that new meeting record, 22.04 in round 2. Now, all the rest of them have got to have their 6th and final round throw yet, but I'm not sure Geist will be caught. Bukowiecki then, 20.60 in round 2. His best so far is in 3rd place. And that's not bad either. That might be a slight improvement for the big Pole. Been around such a long time. He was 6th in the shot put at the World Championships back in 2019 in Doha. 8th in London back in 2017 when he was only a youngster. 20.35, well, no improvement on his round 2 2060, and he stays in 3rd place. Can he be caught? There's some big throwers yet to come. Jordan Geist, I think, can be fairly sure of retaining that meeting record and the win here. Well, there it is, 22.04, Jordan Geist. That world lead, quite magnificent. Anything over 22 meters is rare. Rajendra Campbell, a good second there for Jamaica, ahead of Bukowiecki's 3rd.
So a 3rd and final attempt at 450 for Taggart. Be disappointing for the Kiwi. She's already gone over 460 this indoor season, but I'm sure she's just tinkering, trying something in training. We'll see much more from the Kiwi athlete as the indoor season progresses. We'll see so many of the pole vaulters do a full indoor season. Taggart, she was top 8 indoors and outdoors last year. And these pole vaulters, they make it look so easy when it goes right, and I think a shot like that shows you what they're dealing with. Flips on 4.5 meters up in the air. Svabikova, former world junior champion. Big hopes here for her in front of this home crowd. She's on a 3rd and final attempt as well at 4 meters and 50. And Svabikova manages it. Olivia Taggart didn't. Svabikova stays in the competition. We've seen Tina Schutte take 2 attempts at this height. It took 3 for Svabikova. Actually, I've got her younger sister in this field as well, Apolina Svabikova. She's already exited. Conveyor belt of Czech talent in the pole vault. Svabikova so close to that medal zone at the Europeans and then in Tokyo as well. She goes on as the bar goes up to 460.
Well, there you are. I was just going to say to left of picture, but now centre of picture is the lineup for the women's 1,500 metres. They've got quite a tough act to follow in the middle distances, Hannah, after that men's 8.
You certainly have one, 43.83 meeting record from Crestant. Berke Hailum, one of the big names here. She's run 4:02 so far this season, the 20-year-old. Salome Afonso will go here as well for Portugal. She picked up a pair of medals at the European Indoor Championships and then went on to make the final in Tokyo. She looks full of nerves, Alfonso. She's not that far off Carla Sacramento's national indoor record. That's 4:4, might keep an eye on that. Indoor 1,500 metre debut for Ines Fitzgerald, the double European under-20 champion on the track. Took a hat-trick of cross-country titles in the Goa at the end of 2025, and then is perhaps having fun with some shorter distances. 2 other Brits in this field, Erin Wallace and Ava Lloyd, just to the front of the picture here. It's a busy, busy field for a 1,500 here. Phil Gosh, the European indoor champion over 800 metres. On the start line as well, look at that, elbows galore. Let's just hope everyone stays on their feet. Some of the athletes just staying wide, two pacemakers in this race. They've been asked to pace the race around about 4 dead pace, a 63, 203, and then 240 through the kilometre. Those splits don't quite add up, but 240 is a 4-minute pace. And Berke Hailung capable of that indoors already. She was 3:58 a couple of years ago. She's got lots of talent as well. Saran Berhe of Ethiopia, one to watch as well. And Heda Goin Kalayu of Ethiopia is slotted in between those two, who I really don't know much about. I think this is one of her indoor debuts as well.
Hannah, this is a huge field. I mean, 16 is a big field outdoors, never mind about indoors. And you can see there, the athletes who didn't get away quickly are 20, 25 metres behind those up front. I mean, you know, Alphonse Yup, the meet director, knows his athletics tremendously well, but I just think this is 3 or 4 too many in this field. I mean, the young Brit, Innes Fitzgerald, is way back. She's leading that chasing group, but she's 20 metres behind the front end after, what, a minute on the clock?
I think it is an awful lot for an indoor race. The good news is they've spread out. I think those that have made the cut kind of into that first half, they won't have any complaints. They'll feel like they navigated that first lap. There might be a few frustrated people further down the field. They've just got to bide their time here. They've got to watch for gaps. The pacemaking has been really good so far, nice and quick to spread out that field. See Marta Zanoni of Italy, the mile record holder outdoors, is getting herself into this front group, if you like. There's a bit of a gap opening up behind Innes Fitzgerald, trying to close that gap down. We're down to our second pacemaker, Berke Hailung, using the big screen, looking up.
Yeah, Hailung looking very comfortable up there and in position to kick on once the pacemaker drops out. Remember, we were looking for 203 at 800. I thought that was maybe a little optimistic, and in fact they come through 800 metres in, wow, 208. But that is still a 4-minute pace.
Yeah, they're still well on for 4 minutes here, and it's Kalayu of Ethiopia taking the lead. We don't have a date of birth for her, we don't know how old she is, we don't have any lifetime best for her. But she's looking up at the screen. She knows what she's doing here. Berke Hailung is slotted in just behind her, and Saran Berhe as well. Salome Alphonse getting involved, Marta Zanoni as well, and everyone else just having kind of their own race a little bit further back.
Oof, there was a collision there. Hailung getting in the way, and as Hailung went past to Hannah, there was definitely a bit of a bang. I think Kalayu came off the worst in purple there in 3rd place.
So Berke Hailung, the pre-race favourite here, her 4:02 to win in Stockholm. It's the only time in the world top 20 at the moment that wasn't set the previous 2 World Indoor Tours in Boston and Millrose. And Alfonso just looking up at the screen as well, slightly losing her balance, the Portuguese athlete. She's having a great race here though, Alfonso. She's just picking off the athletes one by one. But you feel like Berke Hailung is in control of this race, and she might just have a turn of pace as we go into the final closing stages.
Well, she's keeping it really healthy. Anybody that wants to catch her is going to have to put in a double acceleration, because I think she's wound it up over the last couple of laps, and that makes it very, very hard for those pursuing. It's been clever racing from her so far into the back straight for the final time.
So Berke Hailung potentially running her way towards another win, keeping her winning streak for 2026 going. She's responded very well to a challenge there from Saran Berhe, the 18-year-old, the second Ethiopian. She might try again down the home straight. Berke Hailung, she's going to have to stay strong here. Berke Hailung with 40 metres to go. The clock just ticking towards 4 minutes. It might be a world lead for Berke Hailung. It is 4 dead 62, unseats Dorcas Iwoy as the current world lead, followed home by her teammate Saran Berhe, and I think that will be a new Portuguese national record for Salome Alfonso. That mark has stood since 2001 to Carla Sacramento at 4:04. So keep your eye on the 3rd placed athlete. Great runs from the 2 Ethiopians. Berhe might have been under the previous world leading mark there as well. And it was Kalayu that came through for 3rd place, 4:01.92. We're going to have to learn a bit more about her, but there is Alfonso, relegated just into 4th in the closing stages. And a great run, the great 1-2-3 for Ethiopia, and a PB and a national record for the Portuguese athlete in 4th.
Brilliant from Hailung, kept enough for the home straight indeed, pulled away from her teammate there. Absolutely clever racing and a truly dominant performance, frankly. I think the domination was greater than the gap between her and the athlete in second place. It's the third world lead of the meeting so far. We had Geist world lead in the men's shot and a meeting record, remember, 22.04. We had Klaver running world lead in the 400, 50 seconds flat, and the world lead in that 1500 now 4:00.62.
We thought we had a load of national records in that men's 800. I think this women's 1500 might have challenged that. We'll wait for the results graphics, but lots of fast times behind the winners.
Svabikova then in this pole vault. Now, cleared 450, third time of asking, pops over 460. And the crowd loving it, as you always do if it's a homegrown athlete. Amalia Svabikova, she is a 480 vaulter outdoors, but this is getting into very, very good quality vaulting, and that's nice. Highest vault in the world this year, 4.74 by a Russian, actually, Knoros. We have to, frankly, ignore that, I'm afraid. And it's Bonin of France, Marie-Julie Bonin, as we see the first three from that 1500. And crikey, Hannah, was it an Ethiopian 1, 2, 3? It was indeed. The talent, they've got this production line.
They certainly does, and Kalayu, a new name there at the personal best in third, but a national record for Portugal, a national record for Switzerland as well, with Jocelyn Wind just behind, an athlete that's doing so well, improving with every race. And personal bests for the Brits indoors as well there, led by Erin Wallace. I think that mark for Jocelyn Wind, that erased a national record that was set all the way back in 1993. Swiss athlete Sandra Gasser. So this track's quick, this track has produced some wonderful times so far, and we've still got a few races to come.
We have indeed, yes. The men's 60-metre hurdles is next up, the final. The athletes out there and ready. Let me just remind you of what we saw in the heats early on. Szymanski winning in 7:57 his heat. Owen Sinner of France, well, he qualified as our fastest non-automatic qualifier with 7:73. Sinner here going in lane 1. Zeno van Negen goes in lane 2. Van Negen, he was fourth in his heat, 7:64. Diesel, what a great name. Diesel winning his heat, and we'll catch up with these athletes. Szymanski goes in 4, Eric Edwards in 5, Jikier goes in 6. The pole very, very consistent. Jikier qualified with 7.69. Jonas Kolomajnik 7:62 in qualifying as a non-automatic qualifier, and then Trajkovic of Milan Trajkovic of Cyprus has lane 8 there. So one tiny error and you're gone in the men's hurdles. There's so little room for error, I'm afraid, and these fellas know that. So technically demanding. Millimeters matter. I remember having a long conversation with Colin Jackson last year, and he said the amount of work you put in to change your foot position by tiny, tiny amount as it goes over the barrier is quite enormous. So the favourites here, well, Diesel in 3, Szymanski in 4, Eric Edwards of the USA in 5, and Jikier in 6. What's the American Edwards in 5 with the headband? Way they go. Edwards the smallest in the field by some way. Also going really well at the moment is Szymanski. Szymanski takes it. Szymanski taking it there. 7.49. Well, if that's confirmed, it is a meeting record. Yes, it is. Iriban of Cuba in 2023, 3 years back, running 7:54. That's a big meeting record. Equals the world lead. And Jakub Szymanski, he's taken some big names down there. Eric Edwards of the USA started so well. I thought was going to take it, but Szymanski, the bigger man of the two, by goodness knows how many centimetres, coming through for what was eventually a pretty comfortable win in the 60-metre hurdles, 5/100ths of a second. Jakir in third, 7:60. So the big names came through to make the rostrum. But Szymanski there with a fabulous run. And, you know, Hannah, when you set a meeting record, you look back over the history of a meet and you know it's got that extra significance.
And Szymanski, he had a great indoor season last year, and he kind of said, I'm the man to challenge Grant Holloway, I'm going to do it. And he didn't in Nanjing. Holloway did triumph. But as we know, Holloway then really struggled in the outdoor season. I think Szymanski might fancy another go at that world indoor title. Trey Cunningham holds the world lead, equal at 7:48. I think it's going to be fascinating to have the pole at home world championships in Turin, taking on the likes of Trey Cunningham and, yeah, I guess anyone else that wants to come join the party. But Szymanski, he looks really motivated for this indoor season, really dialed in.
1m90 tall, 6'3", Szymanski, the European indoor champion from last year. There it is, 7:48. Meeting record should be marked up on there, not just the personal bests, but that matters not. Eric Edwards, a fine second, 7:53 for Edwards. That's in fact a personal best for him, as you can see. His PB was 7:58. Jakir, 7:60 for third place, and that very close to his season's best of 7:57.
The bar up at 4:70 now. Tina Schutte leading the women's pole vault at the moment. Slovenian. She's looked good. That one blip at 4:50. I mentioned already, she's going for a fourth consecutive win here in the arena where she set her lifetime best, her national record of 4:82. That's a good jump here at 4:70 from Tina Schutte. And what is her season opener? And I've mentioned it already, but still 6 weeks to go to the World Indoor Championships. That, you know, you do want to try and hold that form, try and maintain. 6 weeks is a long time. You don't want to be peaking quite yet. So I think Schutte opening up here in February makes a lot of sense. It's for Bikova. Third and final clearance of 4:50. First time over 4:60. And she goes to have a go at 4:70. Not close there for Bikova.
Well, that's a shame because she was so impressive at the previous height, the 4:60. She popped over, no trouble at all. Refusal. Getting towards her limits now. Season's best 4:65. She's knocking on the door of that with that first time clearance at the previous height. Big shout out and a thank you to all the officials giving of their time to put together a meeting like this. It's very intense, a real cauldron of an atmosphere at these indoor meetings. It's a lovely form of track and field athletics. So we see Schutte just keeping warm there with a, what do you call that? A waist blanket?
Just a, I don't know, a sarong. A
Ah,
winter
sarong.
sarong.
Very good, very good.
Thank you. Well, you
They're
were
big in
mentioning-
Poland. I say Poland, excuse me. In Slovenia, sarongs, apparently.
Yes,
They're
yes,
coming,
in the
making a
winter.
comeback.
You mentioned the world list here in the women's pole vault, and I mean, Hannah Moll has done 4:88, but it's at one of these meetings in America that's not sanctioned. You know, if it's not on the World Athletics calendar, it doesn't count towards the ranking, so it gets confusing in the pole vault. But I think Tina Schutte looking in the driving seat as we go and have a look at the men's long jump field. Now, the event presentation team have done fantastically well. That pole vault just concluding, and it's going to open the stage for this men's long jump field. Mattia Falani is the first athlete to be announced, the reigning world indoor and outdoor champion. 20-year-old won here last year, and his rivalry with this man, Miltiadis Tentoglu of Greece, is building and building year by year, and it's wonderful to watch. Tentoglu, still the Olympic champion, but last year had to give way to Falani in terms of those global titles. The continental title indoors last year, though, went to this man from Bulgaria, Bozidar Saraboyokov, and he will certainly want to be in the conversation when people talk about Falani and Tentoglu on his day. Saraboyokov is every bit as good as them. He's just building the consistency at the age of 21. Radek Juska of Czechia next to be announced to the crowd. Multiple finalists, indoors and outdoors. impressive lifetime best, 8:31, set at the World University Games a few years ago. It's in 7:82 so far this season. Tobias Montler won this meeting back in 2022. He's had some injury issues over the last couple of years, the Swede, and he really feels like his best is still yet to come. A few coaching changes, major Achilles surgery. It was okay last year, a decent comeback, but hopefully Tobias Montler back to full force. A regular 8-metre scorecard coming up for him. Owen Konate of France is up next. He's a two-time world under-20 champion in 2022 and 2021. It's not easy to do that. Took the European under-23 title last year, but didn't make the final in Tokyo. Thomas Jervinen of Czechia looks excited to be here. He's the world under-20 decathlon champion, so perhaps a bit of fun for him in just a single event this afternoon. Čekovič of Czechia is going to be the final athlete, jumping 8th, season's best this year, 7:20. It's a lifetime best, so 7:81 though when he won the Balkan Indoor Championships a few years ago. 8 men for the long jump final. Meeting record is held by Mattia Filani at 8:23 from his win last year.
Well, Fabikova then in this pole vault has passed at 470, her third and final attempt at 470. So she saw Sutej go clear first time. So her first and only attempt at 4.75 meters. No, it was a bit of a forlorn hope, seeing as she refused the second attempt at 470. But it's been a great contest nonetheless for Amalia Svabikova, 26-year-old, giving the home crowd something to really roar about. Getting close to her season's best with that second place 460. And here is the confirmed winner. Has had a failure at 475. Now going for 483. Meet record this would be, and it would be Sutej's own meet record to be improving. Meet record, but it's not to be on that effort. It's funny, isn't it, the indoor season, Hannah? It's so short. I mean, really, it's about 6 or 8 weeks of really intense competition. It builds up, and you just feel as though, even though we're at the end of January, beginning of February, it's only just getting going, really.
And you have to measure it right as well. I think you approach it in training to kind of only be able to hold that form for a few weeks, and so the room for error is pretty minor. Here's Schutte going to increase her own meeting record, her own national record. That wasn't half bad, was it? That was her second attempt at 483, 3 failures in a row. She passed her remaining attempts at 475, but that, Tim, that was not a bad effort from Tina Schutte. It's a woman that's been jumping at a really, really world-class level for many years, so to be attempting a personal best, as you say, sort of fairly early on in the short indoor season, that's pretty exciting.
Well, you say many, many years, 37 and still racking up big wins. Yeah, remarkable. And to live the almost monastic lifestyle with that intense focus of an elite athlete through your teens and 20s and into your 30s, I mean, not unique, but pretty rare and very, very special. Turns back all challengers today. Of course, the World Indoors in Poland will be on top of us before we know it.
Women's pole vault, not a World Indoor Tour event this year. Events alternate year on year. The next event, 3,000 metres coming up on the track. That will be a World Indoor Tour event for this year. But we'll wrap up the results for the women's pole vault. Tina Schutte, a 4th consecutive win here at the Czech Indoor Gala with a season's best and her opening competition, 470. Amalie Fabikova, 2nd place in front of a home crowd, 460. And Olivia McTaggart took 3rd with 440.
Well, 12 runners go in this men's 3,000 metres. That's less than in that women's 1,500, 15 minutes or so ago, but it's a really strong field. Engels, Adisu, McCluckey, Figueroa, Schutte, Sasanek, Heymans, and Pietro Rese. Isaac Nada is the big name here, the world champion from Tokyo over 1,500 metres. There he is, the Portuguese 26-year-old. Some thought it was a big shock his winning in at the World Championships in Tokyo in the metric mile, but it wasn't. He'd won the Oslo mile at the Bislett Games earlier in the summer. He won here last year in a mile, 3:54, in a tactical race effectively at this level, beating Elliot Giles. And Giles, remember, one of the quickest 800-metre runners indoors in history. But Isaac Nada while he has Benfica Athletics Club athlete, has quite an aura about him. He's only small, 1m78 m, 5'10". Father from Morocco. He was actually born in Faro, down in the Algarve, where so many of us over the years have been for our training trips. We go down there for a bit of sun and glorious running through the orange orchards. And he was born down there, the lucky devil. Such an amazing season, climaxing with that brilliant surge to victory in Tokyo. Pietro Arese, 3 times European cross-country championships winner in the mixed relay, including in Lagoa last December. Italian, there on the outside, Sasinek, Philip Sasinek, his first race of this indoor winter. He got a silver medal in the cross-country relay back in 2017, did the Czech athlete. His partner is Kristina Mäki of Finland. They have a son, Capo. Shite is in there as well. 5 times the South African champion. A big fat Manchester City fan is Shite. He's only tiny, 1m64, 5'5". One of the few in this field that's shorter than Nada. A lot of people focusing on Nada here, interested to see how he goes in his first race of 2026. Of course, the European Championships in Birmingham in August, the big goal for him this year. A fallow year for many of the world's athletes outside of Europe. The Commonwealth. Wait for it, wait for it. The pace, by the way, due to be 60 seconds per lap through to 800. We're looking for a time at 1K of about 2:31, which should put them on schedule if it's held through the middle laps for something around 7:30. The meeting record is 7:44. That's very vulnerable by Tuali of Bahrain. That was 2018, all of 8 years ago now. And the pacemaker here has gone out at a nice, steady tempo, holding it together pretty well. Is Vukovic, who's looking to take him through 400 in around 62 seconds, it says here, but then 800 in 2 minutes. I think they're expecting him to run a 58-second lap, second 400 meters segment, which would be a bit harsh. But Nada up there in 4th place, effectively in 2nd place from those who are going to run the full distance. Garma is there as well, Emias Garma, 21-year-old Ethiopian with a best of 7:41. That was from a couple of years ago. He's better known as a 1,500-meter runner. He's got a pretty tasty 800 as well. He might be quite tough competition here for Nada Hanna.
We've already seen a Portuguese national record in the women's 1,500 with Alfonso, and I think these athletes will be delighted with this aggressive pace. And they have spread out. I think there could be a second pack kind of gathering with the likes of Henry McLuckie and Craig Ingles, and we'll have to see how they progress. But we're going to look at some of the early jumps from the men's long jump. Bozida Saraboyakov, eventually that European indoor title. That was wonderful in Apeldoorn, and that's a lovely start from the Bulgarian. He was beaten by Falani already this season in Paris. A pair of them were over 8 meters. Saraboyakov and Falani, both horizontal jumpers and vertical jumpers, and Saraboyakov very good at the triple jump as a junior as well. Both of them flashed through this long jump as they were from teenagers all the way now through to seniors. 8:02 for Saraboyakov to take an early lead.
Well, they've got a 458.1, 800 here. They're going through in 1:59.22. Vukovic at the front end of this race. He's done a great job. Exactly what they wanted. 1:59.22. Garma in 2nd place, 1:59.9. So they're moving along at a very, very healthy clip. Nada, the world champion, still in 4th place. The second pacemaker behind Garma there, who obviously hasn't read the script. He's ahead of one of the pacemakers, sandwiched between them as Vukovic moves aside. The big man in blue has done a very good job. 2:31 at 1,000, perfect.
That's really, really impressive. Great pacemaking. And now we're going to see Soki swing round to do his stint as Jevenen, the world junior decathlon champion, takes to the runway. We saw that at 8:02 from Saraboyakov, 7:95 from Falani so far for 2nd place. That's a good jump from Jevenen. Trying to train for all 10 events. His lifetime best in this is 7:77. Look at decathlon, under SCO time. With a full start to his indoor season. We'll see the Norwegian in the heptathlon this indoor season. get some new faces. Maybe Germanin will be one of those. 7:27 for his first jump.
Well, they got to 1200 and 3:03. That lap prior to that point was about a 61.5, so it slowed a little bit here, Jogi. The rest of them moving through nicely. Adisu of Ethiopia is in second place in the all red. Gurma third, Nada fourth. Close contact, well, close attention being paid by them. Shite back in fifth place for South Africa. Don't think he's ever run a 3,000 indoors, Shite, but he is a very useful 1,500 meter man. 3:35, 3:54 miler. But this is this quick tempo is keeping it very, very neat and tidy for these athletes. Arese of Italy moving up around the outside in that sort of print strip in sixth place at the moment, and they've gone coming up towards 1,600 meters, effectively almost a mile. The time there doesn't stop actually, but we got 4:06 on our monitors here, on our computers. 4:06 for 1,600 meters. They've been averaging 61.5 for the 400 meter segments. Hannah, that's about 7:40 pace.
Yeah, they've slowed slightly in this second kilometre, haven't they? We'll get a look at it for real when we come through in not this lap, but the next lap after that. We'll get the 2 kilometre split. But you can tell as well by the way that the field is bunching up here. And even for someone like Arese, he's got a great sprint finish. He's a brilliant 1,500 metre runner. I think the fact that we saw the Italian gliding through the field, that was perhaps the first indication that it was slowing slightly.
It slowed right down, 32.5 for that last lap.
Well, one Italian leading the 3K and one Italian second in the long jump at the moment. He's the world leader this season, Falani. 8:33, his lifetime best, 8:39, so he's in great form at the moment. He's in second place here in Ostrava. Got 3 previous winners at this event, Falani, Tentoglu and Montler. At the moment, Saraboyokov holding on to the lead here in round 2.
Well, it slowed dramatically, this race, between 1,600 and 2 kilometres. 5:10 at 2K, having been, 4:06 at 1,600. So they ran a 64 for what would have been an outdoor lap, 2 laps here. Nada hits the front now and in control. I think he probably felt it was just getting too slow. It's a shame because for quite a few laps, it looked like they were on 7:30 pace. But Shite of South Africa and Fikadu are up there paying attention to Nada, who I think in this sort of race should dominate. He's well capable of kicking away off the front end. A little glance over his shoulder there. Heymans moving up down the outside is looking good. The Belgian 28 rolled into 4th place ahead of Adisu. But Nada looking relatively untroubled for me with 6 minutes on the clock. 3 laps to run as they come through this time.
Well, if they want to go to those World Indoor Championships in Turin, it's 7:33 to go automatically, and then it does matter what your time is. And when you've got some of those tracks around elsewhere in the world that produce phenomenally fast times, I wonder if Nada is just trying to keep this race moving, trying to get as far into the 7:30s as he can, because he's got to trust his sprint finish, and perhaps he wants to show off his fitness a bit more today, rather than just rely on a big old burnout.
Well, on paper, Nada is a class apart from this field. He has a personal best of only 7:53 from Madrid, 4 years ago. He's going to smash that, but I'm not sure if he's going to get into very far into the 7:30s here. He's still got company. He's got a race to win here yet now with these 4 away. Adisu leading the chasing pack as Nada still leads from Gurma, who has been right up there throughout the race. And he looks pretty easy for me, Gurma. We heard the bell that time. Nada has the speed, surely, to kick away off that. They have got a lap to go this time. I thought I heard a bell just now in the background. That was a bit previous. This is the bell. That's more like it. Could have led to a disaster, that. But Nada now winds it up. Suddenly cranks it up another couple of notches and eases away. And in the space of about 60 or 70 metres, glancing over his shoulder, he's opened up 7 or 8 metres down the back straight. Now Shite kicking hard. Could he catch Nada here unawares? I don't think so, but Nada works into the home straight. Shite coming back at him like a rocket hit down the home straight. Nada wisely takes a glance over his shoulder there, wins by a metre. 7:38, it is indeed a meeting record for Isaac Nada by some 7 seconds or so, well over 7 seconds, about 7.5 seconds, and a massive personal best for the Portuguese. A nice blowout that for Isaac Nada. I got the feeling, Hannah, he could have gone many seconds quicker. He had a bit more company in the middle of the race. He was leading from about 2,000 metres. But just a good workout for the World 1,500 metres champion. His first race of this indoor season. Massive personal best. Job done. And he can now look confidently at these next few weeks before heading to the World Indoors, assuming he sticks to the plan to run those World Indoor Championships.
Well, Nada, I think that was a bit of an exhibition, really. I mentioned he didn't want to just show off his sprint finish, but he still managed to show that off in the last lap. I was impressed by Chite, who's he started life as an 800-metre runner, then moved up to 1,500. So to be so close here to the world champion over 1,500 in a 3K is great for the South African. I think it's a national record for Nada, and perhaps for Chite as well, with his 7:38.
Well, for Chite, it's a personal best. It's his debut at 3,000 metres. I mean, it would be a personal best then, wouldn't it? He's a tiny figure, but he came through there like an absolute rocket to threaten Nada and well ahead of the rest of them. Just brilliant. The results yet to be updated properly in our computer system, but Chite was second from Heymans there in third. Germa back in fourth place. I thought Germa looked good for a better run than that, but the time is pretty impressive. Germa in fourth place, 7:40.88, and another meeting record, a national record. You're right, Hannah.
We have seen a lot of very, very good results so far, and that 3,000 metres certainly challenges for one of the races of the day, and a couple of national records at the front and a whole load of personal bests.
Yeah, 7:38.05 doesn't compare with the incredible times churned out in Boston last week. Cam Myers tops the world rankings with that 7:27, but Nada, Chite and Heymans just ahead of German there in that men's 3,000 metres, and Henry, like his season's best 7:46 there for the Brit, just ahead of Adisu.
Home athlete Radat Juska in the second round in the long jump. Still a lead for Saraboyokov at the moment, 8:02. Juska keen to get a mark on the scoreboard here. It's a valid jump for Radat Juska. Very safe on the board there. It's come up for me at 7:76. We've had 2 fouls for a few athletes so far. Saraboyokov 1 valid jump. Falani 2 valid jumps with a best of 7:95. Tobias Montler next on the runway. I mentioned he was so good for so many years. He was the man picking up silvers behind Tentoglu. And then just a few issues for the Swedish athlete. Did last indoor season quite fresh off a surgery and managed to maintain through the summer. And that looks like a lovely second jump from Tobias Montler, 7:93 in the first round. Challenging his season's best of 7:97. Oh, that's very nice on the board from the Swede. He's got his run up correct. It's 8:01 for Tobias Montler. 2 men over 8 metres. Montler just 1 centimetre behind Saraboyokov.
Well, the crowd being treated to some fabulous track and field athletics here in Ostrava's Atletica Hala. The latest meeting record by Nada there in that men's 3,000 metres. Now, Thomas Järvinen, the Czech athlete here, opening with 7:27. That looks a lot better. That marker beside the pit is to be trusted. That looked like about 7.5 metres. Oh my goodness, giving away massive ground on the board. Good height, nice leg shoot. Maybe sat back on that a little bit, rolled back, way behind where his feet cut through the sand, I think. 7:37, he is in 5th place at the moment. Thought he looked further than that.
It's a sellout crowd here at the Czech Indoor Gala, and this is the 3rd stop in the World Indoor Tour. It's been great. We've had those 2 meetings in America. It's now time to spend a few weeks here in Europe. Falani, the world leader, down in 3rd place now. Oh, that could be 3 men over 8 metres. If that's given the green flag, that looks, oh, seems to be a reaction here from Falani. I think it's a valid jump.
It is, yeah. Looks perfect on the board there. It looked close. Brilliant height. That's cycling in the air almost. is a very, very solid effort indeed. He hasn't broken 8 meters prior to this, but he has there. That's big, Hannah. 795, 781, and look at that.
Well, we have got 3 men over 8 meters. The world leader, the winner last time round here in Ostrava, is back in the lead. On the other side, though, is this man, Miltiades Tentoglu, the Olympic champion. He held all the titles at one point, indoors, outdoors, European, world, Olympic. And then last year, finally, he just showed a chink in his armour and looked a little bit ordinary. And he's on 2 fouls here in Ostrava. Well, that was definitely valid, wasn't it, from Tentoglu? He was miles behind the board, absolutely miles behind it. So maybe we could add, I don't know, what do you reckon, 20, 25 centimetres?
25. Look, nowhere near the board even. Never mind about the front edge of the board. Goodness me, that's unusual for him. He can't blame the wind indoors. He's obviously, this athlete's been spending a lot of time in the gym. Technical work is of secondary importance to some degree when you're conditioning, and he'll want to polish up a lot on that sort of effort. No doubt about that. Here's Radek Juska next to go. Now, Juska opened with a no jump, then a 776. He's lying in 5th place. That looks about the same. That might be about the same as his second round effort. His only valid jump so far. And he too, a long way off the front edge of the board. I think quite a few of these fellows are just a little bit rusty technically. He's only had 1 competition so far this year. That was a 782. And Juska there, 765 in round 3. No improvement on his effort in round 2, 776. Stays in 5th.
Having some lovely dramatic lighting for this women's 60-metre hurdles final. And it's got all of the European big names in it, and Pia Szyszkowska has been in fantastic form in the heat. She goes in lane 4, but this woman, Karin Strametz of Austria, goes in lane 1, a season's best to qualify for this final on time in the heats. Elena Hiranova of Czechia will go in lane 2. She ran 8:11 to come 3rd in heat 1. Lane 3 goes to Lotta Herrara of Finland. She ran a personal best to come 2nd in heat 1 earlier on this afternoon, 794. Pia Szyszkowska absolutely flew a few hours ago. She hit a world lead, 778, breaking her own meeting record. She's the former European indoor champion. 5 goes to Nika Lunaric of Slovenia. She backed up her current form by winning her heat. 0.1 of a second ahead of Alicia Johnson. She ran 8:02 there. Alicia Johnson was just behind American, has shown good form already under 8 seconds this year, 7:96, but she's got a lifetime best of 7:82. Rita Verlin of Estonia goes in lane 7. She equalled her own national record in heat 2, running 8:05. The final athlete in lane 8, Alicia Sielska of Poland, European under-23 champion last year in the 100-metre hurdles and a bronze medal at the World University Games. Szyszkowska was lightning quick in that first round. She's run the fastest time in the world this year by nearly a 10th, better than Danielle Williams' mark from the New Balance Indoor Games. So Szyszkowska, so good on her day, we know that. Can she possibly find anything more here? Her national record, 774, was set at the World Indoor Championships, where she came 4th back in March 2025. Pia Szyszkowska trying to make it a double Polish win in the hurdles. Jakub Szymanski already won the men's event, and here goes Pia Szyszkowska, powers across the line, not quite as quick as her heat, 780 though, and it is a double win for Poland in the sprint hurdles. You look at this generation of Polish athletes and that opportunity of the World Indoor Championships in Torun, and it's going to be a wonderful few weeks for them. Szyszkowska, daylight between her and the rest of the field in the end. Alicia Johnson, 788. Lotta Herrara, 796 unofficially at the moment. That's a great opening afternoon of the indoor season for Pia Szyszkowska.
Yeah, brilliant consistency from her. 7.78 in her heat for that meeting record and world lead, and then 7.80 there for the win to turn back the challenge of Johnson. And the Americans always very consistent, very tough. They have astonishing strength in depth in the women's sprint hurdles, just as they do, for example, in several other disciplines. The shot included Harala, 7.96 there. That's a great run from her after her personal best in the heat of 7.94. Really consistent to him. You know, she's moved up a step.
Really great hurdling across the board there from these 8 women, and just some of them ran so fast earlier on as well to run PBs, equal their national records and the like. I think judging by those heats, it did kind of go to form, particularly that win for Szuszkowska. She's had some poorly timed injuries for the last couple of outdoor seasons.
Yes, she has, because she won the Europeans in Munich back in 2022, Hannah. We were all down in Bavaria for that one, and she hasn't really come on against the clock outdoors. And you're right, injuries have been much the reason for it.
It's nothing like a home championships to just galvanise everything, and I think it could be a good kind of second half of her career. I think, yeah, Pia Szuszkowska winning in 2022 was what we thought was going to be the start of kind of string of at least European dominance. When you look at the likes of Tataji Kambundji being the one that ended up winning in Tokyo, you wouldn't have predicted that a few years ago. But hurdling is incredibly strong across the world. You've got the likes of Danielle Williams and Devon Allen, who've been running very well in those American meets. And then for Pia Szuszkowska, just to kind of answer that with a world lead, has been really fun this afternoon. So there's the results of the women's 60-metre hurdles. Pia Szuszkowska, 7.80. Alicia Johnson, a season's best, 7.88. And Lotte Harala, 7.96 for third. But the headline in that event is Szuszkowska's world lead of 7.78 in the heats, and that was a meeting record for the pole as well.
She's still only 24. It seems like she's been around for years. Now back to this men's long jump. Saraboyakov, fabulous opener, 8.02. That held the lead through the first round for the Bulgarian 21-year-old European indoor long jump champion. As we've said last year, long and lean and powerful too, generates a lot of speed. He likes that. And they usually have a pretty good idea, these fellas, of how far they've jumped. Now, he opened with 8.02, no jump in the second round, good on the board. Look at that, a little bit ragged. He's a really desperately powerful sprinter, but not the neatest to look at. But nonetheless, that's a fabulous third round effort from Saraboyakov, the Bulgarian. They've always been big in the horizontal jumps, the Hungarians. And look at that, 8.21, exactly the same as Folani with his third round jump, but on count back he has the lead with that 8.02 opener. It may yet prove to be very, very important.
Tobias Montler, I think he'll be happy to have gone over 8 metres today, to have hit his season's best. I think there's a part of him that might put that down as acceptable for today, but the competitor within Tobias Montler would just love to take a win over these guys if he possibly could. Just peppering around about that 8-metre line as well. Folani and Saraboyakov way over 8 metres. Best of the rest at the moment. 7.99 in round 3. So consistent. Look at that spread of 8 centimetres across 3 jumps.
I was just going to say, fabulous consistency.
But I think he'd trade it all in for an 8.20 something.
But it shows he's pretty dialed in, doesn't it, when you can hit those marks again and again within, what, 2 or 3 inches. I mean, that's over about 3 inches. 2.5 centimetres to the inch. Thomas Järvinen then, 7.27, 7.37, down in 6th place at the moment. Can he find a little bit more here? He's a youngster too, only 20. No, that doesn't look like an improvement. He didn't like it. Remember, he is the decathlete of this pack. World under-20 champion a couple of years back. Prague-based, the Czech athlete. Järvinen, the surname is because his dad's Finnish. Competes for the Dukla Prague club.
So we've got 2 men's 400-metre races coming up. As with the women's, these times will be combined across the 2 events for prize money, for world ranking points, for world indoor tour points and the like. So 2 races, 4 athletes in each.
Here we go with the first of them then. David Bix of Czechia goes on the... Sagers, excuse me, Bix on the inside. This is Sagers. 46-1-1 in Apeldoorn last year at those European indoors. One is for the Royal Excelsior Sports Club, the Belgian. That's based in Brussels. This is first race of the season. Matej Kršek, bronze medal from the World Championships in Budapest 3 years ago in the 4x4. Set his personal best here last year, 45.85. Good athlete, only 47.1 this year. He's in 5. Manuel Guijarro of Spain goes in 4. He's a 46.02 athlete, but that was from 4 years ago in Orense. This year, 47.8 in Salamanca, his best a week ago. And then on the inside, this is the Czechia athlete David Bix. 23-year-old has run 46.9. That was in Prague just a week ago. Can he push on from that here? He's been mixing his racing. He's had a 400, a 500, a 300, and then a 400. All of those in Prague, in his hometown. So Bix on the inside for Czechia. The Spaniard Guijarro, they're in lane 4 in that white strip with the sort of orange bottoms. Matej Kršek of Czechia goes in 5. Daniel Sagers of Belgium goes on the outside. Beating record by Molnar from last year, 45.08. Two laps of the track then. Good powerful start on the outside from Daniel Sagers of Belgium. He's working very, very hard to keep the rest of them at bay. Kršek there in the green, easing into this bend. Might be seeing the stagger unwind in his favour here, but it's still going to be Sagers who's leading by a metre or so as they break from lanes. Kršek working very hard, but he's going to slot in second place. It's about a 2-metre lead there at 21.75. That's aggressive running through to 200 metres. For Sagers, who leads from Kršek. Guijarro, the Spaniard, in third place. Bix back in fourth place. It's lanes 6, 5, 4, 3, the order they were started in the order they're coming into the home straight in for the final time. Sagers down the home straight, working really hard to keep Kršek at bay, and he does so by a metre or so. 45.95 for Sagers. That's a big personal best. His first time ever indoors, under 46 seconds. Absolutely brilliant. He's a 44.6 performer outdoors. That was last summer. And he's a pretty useful long jumper, actually, Daniel Sagers. Shy retiring lad too. 7.89 he's jumped for the long jump, although it was a few years back. He's a bit of a heptathlete as well indoors. But that's a nice run, good dominant run from Sagers, Hannah. He took the race to them and they couldn't respond as they would have liked.
I was nervous for Sagers in that last 50 metres. The knee lift had gone, the stride has shortened. And look at that, the hips have dipped, everything's gone, the form's gone out the window, but Sagers, I think it was determination, great fitness, kept him all the way through to a sub 46 seconds, and that's a lovely way to, another lovely mark to hit indoors. Sagers. I think it's what you have to do in some of these 400-metre races. You have to fight for the lead, and you have to try and protect it. And Sagers executed that brilliantly.
Well, brilliant run there from Sagers.
I'm coming back every year.
He says he's coming back every year. Does he like this track then?
You have to be invited first.
Yes.
45.94, big personal best for him though. No wonder he's fired up. There it is. Confirmation of the Run B result in the men's 400 metres. Daniel Sagers winning over 2 laps. 45.94 with a personal best out of Kršek and Guijarro of Spain.
So we've got another 400-metre men's race to come up. Challenge that time from Sagers. And let's catch up with the men's long jump. We saw Miltiades Tentoglu won 2 fouls and then a 7.96. Now it's Erwin Koné of France. World Junior champion. Oh, that was close on the board. Frustration there from Erwin Koné. That's a significant foul from the Frenchman in the end. And you kind of mentioned it, Tim. I think the athletes will do a lot of strength work, a lot of speed work, a lot of off-runway work through the winter, and it does take a bit of effort and a bit of time to transfer that to the runway. It's not as simple as just step on the runway and run. You do have to manage the adrenaline, the fatigue, the speed, everything, and unfortunately the Frenchman not managing it here in Ostrava. 3 fouls.
Luka Kirkovic then in 7th place at the moment. 7:31. He opened with a 7:37, his best so far. Came in round 3 rather, but he is in 7th place. And that looks pretty similar. Just 21, Kirkovic. He is a 7:81 jumper. His absolute best. That was indoors in Istanbul a couple of years back. He was obviously just 19. It's not happening for him. He doesn't look that happy with it. His only other competition this year prior to today was 7:20 a week back, so he's already improved markedly on that. 7:31. His opener is 7:37 in round 3.
So current leader Saraboyakov, 8:21 in the 3rd round. Well, could be over 8 meters again for Saraboyakov. So much talent in the long jump at the moment. And you look at the Bulgarian and Falani and the frequency with which they're hitting the 820s at the age they are, and they're just doing it week in, week out. Just 8:14 for Saraboyakov, but he's in the lead at the moment. You just feel like as these years go on, they could be the ones to push consistently up into the 850s, 860s.
Matej Falani then. Now in 2nd place on count back. Saraboyakov really consistent. Falani then, 8:21 in round 3. Ooh, and that's nice as well. That's very nice from Falani. He has a good long look at it, so he knows it's solid. On the board this time. Still giving away a few centimetres. Desperately grabbing air there as he flies through into the sand. What does he get here? It's 8:21, has him in 2nd place. 8:22 eases into the lead by the tiniest of margins, 1 centimetre between himself and Saraboyakov at this stage, but plenty of jumping to come. It could change so much. That's lovely to see, isn't it? Setting up an office, effectively, just to get the signatures on the paper there. Svrabikova, who was a 2nd in that pole vault.
Now, Miltiades Tentoglu, 2 fouls and then just under 8 meters, but he was miles behind the board, the Olympic champion. That looked good on the board. That's going to have him over 8 meters. How far over 8 meters, though, for Tentoglu? He won this event 3 times. He didn't win last year. That was Falani. Tentoglu perfect on the board this time.
Do you know what? He's deceptively quick, Tentoglu, isn't he? Because he's relatively small compared with some of the other lads, but very, very fast on the runway, and he hits that one well.
Lead by 1 centimetre. 8:23, 8:22, 8:21. That's the top 3 at the moment. I don't know how they do it. There's so many big competitions in this long jump through the last 12 months, 24 months, separated by just a few centimetres.
Kirkovic there, runs through, so no jump for him in round 4. Next event on the track is that men's race 1 of the 400 metres, and then women's 800, followed by the 60s. Owen Kanate of France then. Look at that card. Disaster so far, lots of speed, and I think that was another no jump, long jump, excuse me, a no jump, long jump. I think that was again over the front edge of the board. Goodness me, just put your marker back and get a mark on the board. You've travelled all this way, you've done all the training. 4 efforts and 4 no jumps. The most anybody else has had is Tentoglu, who fouled out in his 2 opening efforts and then clearly made the adjustment with dramatic effect with that 4th round effort. He leads with 8:23. But Hannah, this is a fabulous contest, the way it's building at the moment.
Saraboyakov has gone from the lead to 3rd through round 4. He's here in round 5. He's asking for a bit of crowd support. And this would be what he has imagined every training session through the last few months. I'm going to be there with Matej Falani and Miltiades Tentoglu. We're going to be fighting, we're going to be splitting the centimetres. Saraboyakov comes down for his 5th jump. That's nice. He's so consistent. Has it been given a foul? It is, it's going to be just a minor one. Yeah, not a big foul from Sarbayokov. Maybe the adrenaline, maybe just forcing it ever so slightly. he does wear his emotions on his sleeve, Sarbayokov. He never looks content with anything less than a win.
He looks like he should be a high jumper. I'm sorry, he just doesn't look like a long jumper.
Him and Falani were both age group high jumpers together.
Well, there you go.
It's silly, the talent they've got. And lovely talent in this second 400-metre race as well. Attila Molnar, the meeting record holder, he won in 45.08 last year, and that started talk of an attack on the European indoor record that's still jointly held by Thomas Schoenleber and Karsten Voorheim at 45.05. Jonas Vijfers, the Netherlands, goes in lane 5. He had a great 2025, a string of PBs, a win at the European Under-23s and a national title. He's second fastest all time in the Netherlands behind the Marvin Bonavaccia. Thomas Horak goes in lane 4, 18 years old, just turned 18, I think. 17 listed there. He made the European Under-20 final last year. He could go to the World Juniors in Eugene this summer. Wittmuller, Czechia, goes in lane 3. He hit a 200-metre personal best a few weeks ago. He was a finalist in Apeldoorn at the European Indoor Championships. He's a hurdler outdoors. So there is Molnar. By his own assessment, Attila Molnar of Hungary ran out of steam somewhat in the indoor season last year. He won the Europeans in Apeldoorn and then ended up in 4th at the World Indoor Championships. Let's see how Molnar is pacing himself here in 2026. The meeting record holder goes in lane 6. Big opportunity perhaps for Tomáš Horak, Czechia, the youngster, trying to get up alongside Vijfers. Molnar looking like he's starting aggressively here out in lane 6. Attila Molnar judging his effort well here through the first 200 metres. He's going to lead into the bell, not by a huge margin over Vijfers though, 21.45. It's faster than the previous heat. Jonas Vijfers, the youngster from the Netherlands, just behind Attila Molnar. Molnar working hard here to hold off the tall Vijfers, but Attila Molnar navigating the final bend. That's hard work with 400-metre lactic in your legs. Attila Molnar strikes for home. He grimaces, he's pulling away from Vijfers. Attila Molnar, 45.02. That is phenomenal. It's a new, if that's confirmed, it's a new European indoor record for Attila Molnar. Thomas Schoenleber and Karsten Voorheim have held that record jointly. Schoenleber back in 1988 and Voorheim in 2019. It's been rounded down, 45.01. Molnar has done what everyone was talking about last year in his first race in 2026. He's taken the win and he's taken the European record.
Well, that is the performance of the day. Astonishing. It's very nearly in the all-time top 20. The 20th fastest time in history is 45 seconds dead. He's run 45.01 here, Molnar. Very powerful indeed. I mean, Vijfers ran supremely. Did everything he possibly could to attack Molnar, but Molnar there, easing away down the home straight over the last 30 or 40 metres. And do you know what? It's really hard to do that because when you should be tying up, to hold your form, Molnar relaxing there. European indoor record, meeting record, personal best of course, 45.01, and Vijfers and equals the Dutch national record with 45.48, Hannah. Brilliant stuff. You can't really call it a race because Molnar led pretty much from gun to tape, but nonetheless, Vijfers kept him on his toes.
I love that for Attila Molnar. Like I said, last year, there was all this talk of getting that European record, and he said, I'm mentally fatigued, I'm done, physically and mentally. But a refreshed Attila Molnar here in 2026 takes the European record and the win here in Ostrava, 45.01. What a run. We've seen so many national records, but that is our first area record, a European record for this meeting. Jonas Vijfers equals the Marvin Bonavaccia's record, and Daniel Seegers, with his 45.95 from the previous heat, does nudge himself into the top 3 there.
Second fastest time in the world this year too. That is special. Falani next to go. There's that leading mark at the moment, 8.22 for Mattia Falani. What a series he's put together. Opened with 7.95, then a 7.81, then 8.21, and then a brilliantly competitive fourth round jump of 8.22. He saw Tentoglu go out to 8.23, so he's actually in second place now as he takes his fifth round jump, and that is big as well. And there's a bounce, isn't there? A real bounce in his stride. Hitting his marks well now on the board. Look at the height. Fabulous stuff from the Italian, and he's just 20 years old. He could take European long jumping, if not global long jumping, into a totally new zone in these next few years. 8 meters 30, widens the gap on the others there. It was a gap until Tentoglu's 8.23, but now they've each got just one opportunity to improve upon that. Fulani will be quite happy if he comes out on top with 8.30. Tentoglu, 8.23, shunted back down to a second.
Tobias Montler having a go here. That looked lovely on the board for him. He's going to be close to 8 meters again. In fourth place at the moment, 7.93, 8.01, 7.99 here in the fifth round. Trying to get himself into the final three. We will have a final three round, as we have done with the men's shot put. Another 8.01 for Montler. So maintains that 8 centimetre spread. It's just fourth place for the Swede. Sell-out crowd here at the Czech Indoor Gala, and just 2 races left to go. So women's 800 getting themselves sorted out on the track, led perhaps by Prudence Secodiso, the world indoor champion from last year. We'll have a look at Radek Juska, his 5th round attempt in the men's long jump. He's in 5th. That looks probably around, what, 7.5 or so. Juska best is 7.76 so far, so he'll stay in 5th place. So about the same as the season's best from a few days ago, 7.82. So 7.56 for Juska. He'll stay in 5th place. He won't make it through to that final 3 in round 6. Great climax here for the crowd that are gathering as we go to the final 3 in the men's long jump. Matti Fulani is in the lead with a meeting record of 8.30. Miltiadis Tentoglu in 2nd with 8.23, and Bozidar Saraboyokov in 3rd with 8.21. Just sorting out who's going to jump first, I think. I think it will be Fulani. A great event presentation from the team here at the Czech Indoor Gala to have the final 3 going sort of as the final 2 track events are getting warmed up. It's just what you want to give a crowd. It's harder than it looks as well to coordinate all that. But here goes Mattia Fulani, the world indoor and world outdoor champion, the world leader this season with 7.33, the new meeting record holder at 8.30. He's got one last chance to show his best here in Ostrava before Tentoglu and Saraboyokov have a go. Ooh, way behind on the board there for Fulani. It's not going to improve on his 8.30. There we go. Just about in shot. And I think what Fulani's improved on somewhat in the last couple of years is the consistency across the 6 rounds. He used to be able to do something crazy, maybe in the 2nd round, and then emotionally that would get the better of him. He couldn't reproduce it in the later rounds. To do 8.30 here in round 5, that's a real illustration of the way he's matured as an athlete. Miltiadis Tentoglu. Foul, 7.96, 7.23 to give himself a brief lead here in Ostrava, and then 7.01 in round 5, we didn't show that. Tentoglu, one last chance. Trying to find himself 7 centimetres, get on terms with Fulani. Ooh, it's going to be over 8 meters, but I don't think it's going to be 8.30. Tentoglu came in with a season's best of 8.25 from a smaller meeting in Greece. He's backed that up here with an 8.23. And that'll be fuel to the fire for the Greek man. 8.06, so that's fine. I think perhaps sort of better form than he showed at this time last year, Tentoglu. That leaves just Vazida Saraboyokov of Bulgaria. 8.23 in round 3. It was 8.02 in the first round to take an early lead. Had the lead on countback over Fulani, but now he's down in third place. Final jump in the men's long jump. A foul there from Saraboyokov. Perhaps even a slip. He was so far over the board. It's a foul for him in round 5 as well. That looked like a big jump. But the big 3 on paper, Fulani, Tentoglu, Saraboyokov, make up your top 3. And then perhaps in the order you'd expect. Sure, we'll see them again. Confirmed foul for Saraboyokov. I'm sure we're going to see these 3 go again and again across Europe in the coming weeks. There's so many meetings. Good number of the World Indoor Tour events happening in the next few weeks, and so many silvers and bronzes as well. But there's a confirmed result of the men's long jump. Mattia Fulani, meeting record 8.30, Miltiadis Tentoglu 8.23, and Vazida Saraboyokov 8.21.
The final middle distance race of the day then, just the 260, just a 60 metres final to come after this, the women's 60 final. Let's have a look at this field. The pacemakers have been tasked with going out. That's Gric in 28 and then 57 400. Margarita Krasnova is a 202 athlete at her best. World University Games bronze in the long relay back in 2023. Nigis Getachew, second in the world indoors last year in Nanjing. The Ethiopian has best of 159 from those championships in China. Hasn't raced yet this year. Prudence Sekodiso, well, she's the world indoor champion, is the South African. What a race she had in Nanjing. Has never run a good 400, never broken 54 seconds. Her outdoor personal best on Ostrava last year, 157.1. She has good memories of this city. Valentina Rosamilia there of Switzerland, sharing that lane with Gayanova. She's a 201 athlete at her best. Gayanova, well, the European Championship silver medalist in Rome back in 2024 outdoors, the Slovakian, the nickname Gabika. Won here last year in a meeting record, did Gayanova. That meeting record, 2:02.16, very vulnerable. Anita Horvat, silver medalist in European indoors back in 2023, bronze medalist last year at those European indoors, and 7th in the World Championships in Eugene back in 2020. She's a good athlete, the Slovenian. And Emma Moore of Ireland on the inside, best of 2:01 in Dublin this season. That was just a few days ago. Studies at the Dublin City University and runs for the Galway City Harriers Club. And Dublin City University as well does more. So, Sekodiso, the world indoor champion, goes in 4. A bit of a roll there from Sekodiso as the gun went, but they get underway. In the B800 earlier on, Ziva Remic ran a personal best and a meeting record. I wonder if that can be improved upon here in this A race. We know this is a quick track. Sekodiso there with the black flowing hair, looking very relaxed indeed. She's a nice looking mover, isn't she? Getachew is into the lead ahead of her, just behind that pacemaker Anna Gric. There was a World Indoor Championship silver medal herself from last year's championships in the 4x400 meters relay. Down the back straight then. Nice and steady at the moment. It's a sensible sized field there, but Sekodiso, the South African, is only 24. A lifetime best 158.4. That was in Nanjing, and she's looking very, very much relaxed and ready to kick on here. I wonder whether Getachew can be a real challenger here, who took the silver medal behind her, Hannah, last year in Nanjing.
57.27 for the pacemaker through the bow. There's a bit of a gap back to just Getachew, and I think the Ethiopian's pacing this very well. She was aggressive through the first 200 and then settled. And Gayanova, as you picked out, Tim, the winner last year, just had a go there, and it's almost as though Getachew was woken up by that challenge from Gayanova. And Getachew's going to try and control this from the front as Gayanova has another go, and Sekodiso just looks pretty calm and controlled there in third place.
The bell this time, 1:29.56. They could go sub-2 here. Only 3 women under 2 minutes this year, for 800 meters indoors. Sekudisa going backwards. Oh, she's hit the buffers and is having a terrible run. She's way out of this now as Getachew kicks into the back straight. Gajanova in second place. Moving through nicely is Kojanova, but it's Getachew who leads now. I don't know if Gajanova's going to get back to her, is she? Getachew kicking away at down the home straight here to take this one. Dips at the line, 1:59.99, a second improvement on the meeting record at 800 meters for women of the day. Brilliant stuff from Getachew, 1:59.99. It's very close to her lifetime best, which was in Nanjing last year when she took that silver medal at the World Indoors. And she becomes just the 4th athlete this year to go under 2 minutes for 800 meters, the world best by Audrey Verreau. That was back, just a couple of days ago, 1:57.49 in Val d'Oreuil in France from Verreau, the Swiss. But she controlled that one quite magnificently. Goodness knows what happened to Prudence Sekudisa. She clearly out of sorts there, top of picture.
I think, yeah, Sekudisa, it was almost, she stopped running with 200 meters to go, maybe very, very fatigued and maybe not wearing that fatigue on her face because she looked great before we hit the bell. I was impressed there by Nijist Getachew. The pacing, she looked calm under pressure, happy to lead. And that's a hard thing to do. And she just responded to every challenge. And you'd expect when you've had to fight off challenges, you'd then be vulnerable in the last 50 meters. But the Ethiopian looked very strong. Gajanova, a good title defense, if you like, from this meeting last year. And I was impressed with the finish there from Valentina Rosamilia, a great age group athlete that's dealt with injuries and is coming back out very well as a senior.
So yet another meeting record then. Gajanova's consolation is a national record in second place. That's a 2:00.45. Rosamilia, good run from her too. A personal best in third place, the Swiss.
Here's the final for the women's 60 meters. We've seen the season opener for Amy Hunt. She ran at 7:17 to win her heat. Patricia van der Weken went faster though, 7:13. We'll go through the full lineup. Here's Tori Lewis of Australia, national record holder over 60 meters and 100. 7:34 for her season's best so far. Lane 2 goes to Samira Killebrew, her second European final of the week. She made the final in Valencia last Saturday, and here she is in the final in Ostrava on a Tuesday. Now, Zeynep Dosso started brilliantly in her heat, and then we think she mistook the 50-meter finish line for the 60-meter finish line. She shut it down and got pipped on the line by Patricia van der Weken of Luxembourg. These two both on the podium at the European and World Indoor Championships last year. Luxembourg athlete looking to maintain her unbeaten streak this year. Amy Hunt was 5th in Nanjing at the World Indoor Championships back in March, and then went on through the season to pick up a silver medal over 200 meters in Tokyo. Manasova, 7:05 this year, a new national record for Czechia, the European lead, the home girl. She lives here in Ostrava and would love to treat this crowd to a win. Del Pont ran her fastest time, I think, in some 4 or 5 years in qualifying for this final at 7:23. Former European indoor champion back from a string of injuries. Boglaka Takac of Hungary goes next. Season best for her is 7:29 in qualification. She made the final in Apeldoorn. A great indoor season last year, very proficient over 100 and 200. Now Dosso, the European indoor champion, silver medalist at the World Indoor Championships. The favourite here in this field. She's got the fastest personal best on paper, 7:01 from that win in Apeldoorn. Manasova, though, the local athlete, the one in form, 7:04 already this season. Patricia van der Weken, so reliable over 60 metres. And Amy Hunt, a global medalist in the middle in lane 5. Good start again from Zeynep Dosso. The Italian driving hard here. She's got Killebrew, the American, for company, but Dosso does not mistake the finish line this time. The Italian takes the win, 7:1. In the end, the class of the field here couldn't quite challenge the meeting record stay with Ava Svoboda. That's been rounded down to 7:09 for Zeynep Dosso. Van der Weken, her first defeat of the season, but still a good run in a high-quality field. 7:14 for her. And I think it's a blanket photo finish for the rest of them. Glad to see Zeynep Dosso. Another chance here at the track in Ostrava.
Yeah, she was probably angry, Hannah, with herself for mistaking that finish line that you explained in her heat, but she got it absolutely right there. Brilliant run from her. Van der Weken, very good too, a season best for Dosso with that win, 7:09. Quite a comfortable win, actually, in sprinting terms indoors, 7:09 to 7:14. Amy Hunt coming through for third. Goodness me, was she third? Equal third with Manasova, who set off like a rocket there in that final, right beside Hunt. There, third to left is the tiny figure of Karolina Manasova of Czechia. Amy Hunt coming back, getting on terms with the rest of them. They're all the way through. Over at the top there, Killebrew of the USA going backwards over the last 20 metres or so. Hunt was chasing so hard, didn't get a brilliant start, but made up for it with a really strong second half. But Dosso, yeah, class apart, 7:09. Very, very impressive brace of races.
And a great way to finish the action here in Ostrava. It's a busy old week on the World Indoor Tour. We're here on a Tuesday. Friday we go to Madrid, and Sunday we go to Karlsruhe. 3 meetings in a week to really get into this indoor season.
Brilliant night's athletics. I mean, I made it 4 world leads and 6 meeting records. It was a rare evening of very, very high quality track and field athletics. I mean, 22 meters in the men's shot. Goodness me, Klava 50 seconds exactly in the women's 400 meters. European record in the men's 400 meters there, 45.01. Absolutely supreme there for Attila Molnar. And just confirming that result there for Doss, 7:09. Your highlight, Hannah, was it that European record?
I think Attila Molnar, after all the hype from last year, getting it done in the very first competition here with 45.01, that was special. But a load of good races. Wonderful to see all those national records in the endurance events as well. Plenty to get excited about. A largely European meet here in a year that sees a World Indoor Championships. I think it could be a very exciting indoor season as it unfolds as we get towards those national championships, as we conclude this World Indoor Tour and look towards Turin.
Yeah, middle distance racing was great, wasn't it? You look at Berke Heilum controlling that women's 1500 metres just outside 4 minutes. Isaac Nada, meeting record 7:38 to win the men's 3000 at a canter. I'll leave you with these closing shots of Skrzowska, who set a meeting record in her heat earlier on in the 60-metre hurdles, and went on to win the final pretty comfortably. And brilliant running from Hamida to set a new national record for Egypt in her event there. Klava, truly dominant. And Hannah, the series rolls on, doesn't it?
It does. Busy, busy few weeks. We're on to Madrid, then Karlsruhe, and we'll go to Belgrade on the 11th of Feb. Van on the 19th of Feb, and then we'll conclude in Turin on February the 22nd. And there'll be a bit of a lull in the programme to have some national championships and build the momentum into those World Indoor Championships. Those take place between the 20th and the 22nd of March, so plenty of time to get yourself excited for that. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. My name is Hannah England, and I've been with Tim Hutchings, and we'll see you again soon.